What's happening, everyone? Dave Bowen back again with another message. And today, as you can see here, we're going to talk about how to expand your consciousness. And really, what I want to touch on is in this video, we'll probably have more videos about how to expand your consciousness. But in this video, I want to talk about the power of thought, emotion, and action or feeling, or what the Hindus call karma. Okay, which just to give you a brief background on that, not to get off track here, we think of karma as, like if you do good, good things are going to happen to you. If you do bad, bad things are going to happen to you. Or what goes around comes around, and that's true in a sense. That's correct. But the true meaning of the Sanskrit word karma translates in English to action. Okay, it translates in English to action. So that's what we're going to touch on. I'm going to explain that more here in a minute, and how they all three tie together, and how they can not only expand your consciousness, but how they affect your life, either positively or negatively. And I'm going to show you inside this video how to use those thought, emotion, and action feeling to affect your life positively. Now, if you have not watched my video on the real law of attraction, I would recommend watching that. Before you watch this, you don't have to. I'll probably put up a annotation here so you can click and watch that video. But this is going to be kind of an extension of what I taught inside that video. But again, I cannot stress enough how important meditation is, and binding these together and using these positively in your life. Because through meditation, you're able to quiet your mind. And you're able to really, the more you meditate, the real goal of meditation, which a lot of people don't understand. I mean, they think it's just to, to quiet their mind and other things. But really, the real goal of meditation is to connect with your inner self, because we all have an inner self inside of us that is, it's never affected by the good or the bad. There is no duality. It is unchangeable. Okay, it is, when you die, it's going to be the same. And when you're born, I mean, it's an unchangeable self. It is actually what you could relate to, the part of God. Okay, because we all have God within us. It even talks about that in the Bible. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within you. Okay, in Genesis, it talks about we were created in the image and likeness of the Creator. And then when Eve and Adam ate from the apple, God said, look, man has become like us, knowing good and evil. And I talked about this in my blog post that I did. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Occult Mind Science. But anyways, I talked about the true meaning, or no, I'm sorry, it was the law of attraction. The true meaning of that, because you have to understand that if you look into the Kabbalah or any type of esoteric occult studies, whether it's Egyptian, it doesn't matter. Every single religious sect has an esoteric side to it. Okay, what we call a cult, cult today, but it's not really. I guess you could call it a cult, but a cult is not necessarily a bad thing. These cults were good. Okay, these were the priests and priesthoods of ancient man, of the ancient civilizations. But anyways, the Bible, the Kabbalah, and all those, you'll come to understand that everything, almost every single thing, even like Harry Potter or any new book or movie, they all have an underlying hidden symbolism, hidden meaning. If you look at Star Wars, okay, it's actually, I'm not going to get real deep into that, but I've talked about the Law of One, and I recommend looking into that, getting that book, or finding a free PDF online, reading through it. But it was actually a channel that was set up with an entity called Ra, who came to this earth a long time ago, in the time of the Egyptians and a couple other times, to help, progress mankind. And anyways, he talks about how there is a negative, entity that is from Orion. excuse me, a negative group. Okay, they're part of the Confederation. Now, and the questioner asks, well, would you say that it's somewhat like Star Wars? And Ross says yes. Actually, George Lucas was in touch with an entity who gave him that information. So Star Wars is actually based on some true stuff that's going on out there in the cosmos that we can't really see. Anyways. So, you have to understand that everything has a hidden meaning to it. And it's funny, I was in the bookstore and I was looking under philosophy, and I noticed that there are all kinds of books, like the philosophy of Star Wars or the philosophy of Harry Potter, or almost any movie or book that you can think of has a book that talks about the philosophy, the meaning behind the book or story or movie. And I thought that was interesting. Anyways, so this is no different. The Bible is no different. There are hidden meanings inside the Bible. Now, to get back where I started, got a little off track. There was a story of Adam and Eve, and my opinion, my understanding through the research and meditation and stuff that I've done, I think the hidden meaning behind the story of Adam and Eve is that we were once, and you have to look at. You can actually get a free PDF version online. The first book of Adam and Eve. If you just go to Google and type in the first book of Adam and Eve PDF and read through that, and it talks about how they were literally like spiritual beings. They were not material. Okay, they were spiritual. They were immaterial. And what happened when they ate from the tree? They entered into the material world. Okay, because Adam, was talking to Eve, and he's saying, remember, we were like, spiritual beings. I can't remember exactly how it goes. If you look it up, you'll find it. But he says, remember, Eve, we were glowing with light, and blah 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 blah. So my understanding is that there's a symbolism to the story. It may have happened. It may be true history, but there's also a hidden meaning behind the story, and it's saying that mankind, okay, Adam and Eve are the symbolism of mankind, okay, who fell from the spiritual world, okay, the perfect spiritual world, to the material, the imperfect, grossly, evil, and evil's not a correct word, but you know what I'm saying, to the grossly material world. And so basically, it's teaching us that our goal in life, my opinion, and through other books that I've read, like the Bhagavad Gita, the Dhammayata, the Buddhist text, the Upanishads, teaches us that, and even in the Bible, I mean, almost all ancient religious texts and philosophy, the goal of life is to reconnect with that spiritual side. Okay, it's to get back to where we fell from, to where mankind fell from, to get back to that spiritual side. And we can do that while we're living. Okay, we don't have to wait until we die. That's the wrong thing to do. That is the wrong thing to do. So anyways, one way that we can do that during life is by, controlling our thoughts, emotion, and our actions and feeling. And hold on just a second here. This book here, the Dhammayata, which is the main, Pali canon of the Buddhist text, probably the most important, is one that I urge you to get. And that's what the Buddha talks about in here. But anyways, he literally talks about how, I may not be able to find it in here right this second, about how our thoughts literally become things. I think this is it. Okay, this is the introduction by Ekanath Esarwan, which is amazing. And it says that our life is shaped by our mind, for we become what we think. These simple lines are both the subtlest and the most practical in the Dhammayata. The words are too rich for any translation to convey their full meaning. Literally, they say, mind is the forerunner of all dharmas. All follow the mind. All are made out of the mind. Dharmas has a double edge here. It means at the same time both things and thoughts. To the Buddha, everything is a dharma, a mental event. We don't really experience the world, he observes. We experience constructs in the mind made up of information from the senses. This information is already a kind of code. We don't actually see things, for example. We interpret as separate objects a mass of electrochemical impulses received by the brain. And of course, this information covers only a narrow range of sensibility, limited to what the senses can register. But from this scanty data, the mind makes a whole world. So yesterday in the video of the law of attraction, I talked about how, this realization, this revelation I had come to me during my meditation the other day was that, we each, literally, just as it said in here, are creating our own worlds in our mind. Okay? So when the Buddha is saying that our life is shaped by our mind, he's not just giving some type of allegory. I mean, he's being dead serious. We literally shape our own world in our mind through our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions and feeling. Okay? So I can't stress enough how important thoughts are. Thoughts, emotions, and actions and feelings. And it all starts with your thoughts, all right? And you have to learn to control your mind. I mean, I know for myself, it took me a long time to, and I still struggle with this. My brain is so crazy sometimes that when I try to think of a positive thought, all these negative thoughts will rush into my mind, and it took me a long time to be able to quiet my mind, and that's happened through meditation. And to quiet my mind to the point where that doesn't really happen that much anymore. And see, and one thing that the Buddha found through breaking through these different levels of reality that are within us, that you will come to find in meditation, is that thoughts are like a movie screen. Okay, if you look at a true movie, it has breaks in the images. All right, and if you were to slow it down, you would see a bunch of black breaks in the images. But when you play it fast enough, our mind doesn't interpret those breaks. We see just a straight stream of information. But really, there are breaks. And that is how the mind works. If you can slow the mind down enough, slow your thoughts down enough, you can control your thoughts. And he's got a perfect, basically he says that the wise, their thoughts are like arrows, and they can aim their thoughts where they want to. And that's not the right way to say it. Anyways, you get the point. But that's the goal, is to be able to control your thoughts to where you're not thinking nonstop. Okay? You only have a thought when you need to. And you can aim that thought and control that thought to what it is that you want. Man, I wish I could find that here. Oh well. But but that's so important again, and it starts with thoughts, okay, and then come emotion, and I talked about this yesterday with the chakras. You've got your three spiritual, your thoughts. These are where your thoughts come from. Then you've got your emotional, your material chakras, and in the middle is your heart. And the goal is to bring those together. Bring those together into the heart, which is just a massive electromagnetic, sphere. It sends out electromagnetic waves, and when you bring those together and you feel the emotion, you feel the emotion and the thought together as one, which brings you the action and the feeling. It goes out into the field, because a lot of people think that, and I talked about this yesterday, but I didn't mention this part of it, that we only see about 1%, I believe it is, of the entire universe. Okay, so only about 1% of the entire universe is visible to us. So there are a lot of unseen forces, but a lot of people think that space is empty. And space is far from empty. And the Buddha teaches that in here and all the other texts too. So you have to understand that what's in the what we call space is electromagnetic fields. It's the field. It's known as the field now in science. And so when we send this feeling out, it's going into the field and it's attracting to us what we think, either positively or negatively. Hence the law of attraction. Okay, that's where they got it from, but they don't explain this, And so what happens when you get that feeling? That's what causes the action, either through the field or through yourself, through your mind. It causes you to act. Now, you have to be careful because with karma, okay, like I said, karma is action. So if you're just looking to be selfish, okay, if your thoughts and emotions and what you're visualizing, what you want, what you desire is selfish, okay, you may get that stuff, but you're going to have someone do that to you. You know what I mean? You're going to have someone take something from you for their own self to be selfish, because it is true that what you do will come back to you. So the best way to do it is, and the best way that I've found to do it is to, like, yes, I want to be wealthy, but here's the thing: is that as my buddy Randy said, the money is going to go straight through my hands. Okay, I'm not going to hoard it. I'm not going to, my goal used to be to have nice houses and cars and all that, but I need to take that down anyways. That's not what I want anymore. Okay, what I want is to travel the world. If I had the money right now, I'd be down in the Philippines helping out because of the horror, that's down there right now, the chaos and what those people are going through. I'd be down there right now helping out. I would be traveling the world and learning everything that I can learn to teach you guys more. That's my goal now, and give money, to charities, to people in need, things like that. Because as a great Mahatma Gandhi said, there's enough in the world for everyone's need. There's not enough in the world for everyone's greed. Okay, so greed is the problem. So if you're using this, what I'm teaching you here, to expand your selfishness, to expand your greed, then I'm telling you, eventually you're going to pay for it. Okay, eventually you're going to pay for it, and you're not going to like what happens. Okay, I can tell you that. It may not happen in this lifetime, but eventually you will pay for it. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is, when bad things are happening to you, it is a result of the karma of the action that you have done previously. Okay, so if you want bad things to stop happening to you, you need to start doing good things. You need to start serving others. Okay, you need to start, developing spiritually. In one way, experiment, I wouldn't call it experiment. One way that you can expand your consciousness and help with the good karma is the emotion of love. Okay, and most of you know. I mean, all of you should know. We have DNA, a double helix DNA inside of us, but most of you probably don't know that this DNA expands and contracts. Okay, so it expands and contracts, and the two emotions that cause that, and when it expands, it relaxes. And that is through the emotion of love, or any of the sub-emotions, because there are really only two emotions in this world: love and fear. All the other emotions stem from those. So with love, you've got joy, happiness, gratitude, peace, harmony. Those are all the positive emotions. And with fear, you have hatred, envy, jealousy, all those negative emotions. So when you have love, your DNA, expands and relaxes, and that's when you are healthy, you're happy, you're joyous, you're free, and that's when your body is running at full capacity. When you have the emotion of fear, your DNA contracts, and it's tight, and it's not relaxed, and that's what causes pain, bad things to happen, disease, all that stuff, dis-ease. Your DNA is at dis-ease. Okay, it's not at ease. That's where we get that word from. All right, so love is one of the most powerful emotions, and when you can feel the emotion of love, and you can feel not only emotion of love for yourself and your family and for the people closest to you, but for everyone and everything, because we are all one. Okay, if you think about it, we're all looking for the same thing. Some people may not realize it, but as Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, that no matter what path you take, there are many different paths you can take. You can serve self, but eventually, maybe not in this lifetime, but eventually you're going to get on the path to spirituality, which is the meaning of life. Okay, we've all asked for thousands and thousands of years, what's the meaning of life? Who is God? Why are we here? And so, I mean, if you think about it, we all are trying to get to the same place. So why is there all this separation and war and violence and segregation and racism? I mean, we're all human beings. Can't we get along? I don't understand that. I mean, look at how big the universe is. We need to come together. We need to come together as a race, okay? But anyways, the emotion of love will help you to do that. And when you're driving down the road or you're talking to somebody, see God in that person or whatever it is that you call God or your higher power. See God. See the one infinite creator in their eyes. See God in them. Okay. Same with animals. Same with trees. Anything. You can see God in it. One way to do that is through the Fibonacci sequence. And my first blog post, Occult Mind Science, I posted 3 videos about the Fibonacci sequence and the Mandelbrot sets, the fractals. I recommend looking at those if you have not already seen those before, because they're very important. Because you can see this higher intelligence that created this universe in everything. Okay, the Fibonacci sequence and fractals are in every living thing. Our whole body is a fractal. Okay, you'll notice that there's 3 joints in your fingers. All right. Well, there's also 3 joints in your arm. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so your whole body is nothing but a fractal. All right, and that's important to see that. The ancient Egyptians believed that man was the ultimate symbol. It had the whole universe inside of him. So if you could understand man, you could understand the universe. Hermes Trismegistus was the one that stated, as above, so below, and as below, so above. Okay, so practice this stuff, guys. I'm telling you, it will change your life. And that's all I have today. Peace, love, namaste.